Everybody, welcome back to the Awakener podcast. It's great to be with you today. Go to theawakener.ca and subscribe to the podcast. You can share my articles and you can kind of view, there's different tabs there you can click on, which explain to you what is happening throughout the last 40 or 50 years and explain to you kind of why things are happening. There is a covert battle, as we talked about many times, between two imperialistic forces. This is the reason why we do not have peace on this world. Western imperialists are at war with a hidden communist conspiracy, and the United States of America is under attack. The Western world is under attack. Now, if you live in Canada like me, I'm absolutely appalled by what's going on. I have no idea what's going on here. When I turn on the TV or I see these ads on Facebook where elbows up Canada, like, listen, we're not in a fight with America. We need America. I want people to logically think about something for a second. Everybody wants America to come to the benefit of Ukraine. Okay, fair enough. Let's go full on and benefit Ukraine, and let's go to this war and let's have a war with Russia. Okay, what are the consequences of that? The consequences of that, as we've told you, are perhaps a world war. Now, if you're living in Canada, use your brain for a second and pull up a world map. You'll find just across the Arctic Circle, about 300 miles away, is Russia. Now, what use would say Canada's Arctic Circle, Greenland, Panama Canal, and naming the Gulf of America or the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America? What would that have to do with anything? Well, like, if there was going to be a war, don't you think it would be beneficial that the U.S. had control of maybe our Arctic Circle in this war to protect us? What about if all our communication systems went down in this war? Would Starlink not be a benefit to our society to provide people with communications on maybe their cell phone or TV, whatever they want to do to set that up? No? Well, this is things that you kind of have to ask yourself. So why is my government here in Canada positioning itself kind of in a war with the USA? Now, I want to ask yourself, think about this. Canada's talking about elbows up, like in kind of like hockey or whatever the case may be. Now, when you elbow in somebody in hockey, does the person ever get elbowed and nothing happens afterwards? No, it's the start of a fight. So why is it when I pull up the phone, why is it that Carney is talking about he wants to spend a ton of money on bringing our natural resources back, kind of like what you would do before a war? Why is he talking about he wants to fund the Canadian military right before a war? Why is it coming out that we're enemies with the States for now, when all you had to do was close the border? The enemies of America are these Soros-backed politicians. Because you remember, as I've explained to you, Soros and his establishment worked to collapse the Iron Curtain, and it was a fake. It was fraud. The guy is a complete fraud. So all of his politicians are actually covertly working to lead Canada and the Western world into what is called a communist revolution, and obviously the establishment of their wonderful communist utopia. So obviously, if you think about what's going on, Canada, like I told you on this podcast, is a horrible, horrible communist nation. We've been in the 9/11, where obviously the 9/11 terrorists came across the border from Canada. And if you look at the record under Trudeau with the Chinese spies in the Winnipeg lab or training the Chinese soldiers, the list goes on. And I have no faith whatsoever in my government and what they're doing right now. What they're doing, and what it appears like Carney is doing, is that they're doing a last-ditch attempt to really control power, like they did in Ontario. Ford came out right away, and Ford is a piece of poo-poo. Let's put it that way politely. So these people are using this, and the misunderstanding or the lack of knowledge from Canadians about actually the war and what's happening, to pounce on it and establish control. Well, like, if we're going to get into a war with Ukraine and Russia, we need America to protect us. Or are we going to join the side of Russia? Like, what's going on here? I mean, at the end of the day, the truth is going to set you free. And remember, like we told you, our government doesn't work for us. They work for enemies. That's all for now. Head to theawakener.ca.